What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into NYJ today. It is a Monday night edition of the channel, and on this stream, I have not streamed on a Monday night before, so I'm very much looking forward to doing that. I am a teacher. It is summer vacation for yours truly. I could not be more excited about it. I can actually do more things on the channel without having work interfering with it because I have the summer off. So anyways, getting on topic, I just could not believe how good Flight 2021 was. If you've already watched it, and if you're not sure what that is, it's a mini series that the Jets just released tonight on different social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and it takes you through the Jets offseason. It takes you through the hiring of Robert Saleh. It takes you through free agency. It takes you through the scouting of the draft and the actual draft itself of drafting these players. And I gotta give a tip of the hat to the Jets, their professional, the production team. They did a phenomenal job with that. I mean, the video, the interviews, really just like they gave you a full behind scenes look at what happened and what transpired in this offseason. And the thing that got me, and I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're in the chat, go ahead and start throwing comments in. I would love to interact with you guys. The thing that I got the most fired up about was just listening to our coaching staff. So there were many things, and I took a couple of notes while I was watching, but the thing that really kept getting me so excited was listening to the coaches on this team. Robert Saleh, obviously, he had one of my favorite quotes of the entire night. He was on the phone with Elijah Moore, and this was the quote. He says, oh shoot, I tweeted it. Never mind, I don't have it even on my phone. So he said, there's 31 teams that are going to have to pay, dog. I'm going to pull the exact quote up, but it was just absolutely awesome to hear him say that to a player. Robert Saleh is absolutely a dream come true. If you're a Jets fan, and if you've been a Jets fan for a while now, it just is awesome. We have a true leader of men, a guy that wants to be in charge of the whole franchise, not just, game day. He is the leader of this football team. Zachary Berner, welcome to the channel, dude. I'm not sure if I've seen you in here before, so welcome. He says our coaching staff sounded so smart, and that's what I'm getting to. Robert Saleh is just the tip of the iceberg. I actually came even more impressed with Mike LaFleur and Jeff Ulbrich, our defensive coordinator. Those two guys are really, they have a really good shot. I mean, I did a video in my Keys to Success series on the channel. I did a video on them, and believe it or not, they were the very first ones in the series. I'm going to pull it up right now just because why not? These two men, guys, if you haven't watched Take Flight 2021, you obviously want to go ahead and do that. But the two guys that I'm talking about right now, the two guys that I just threw up on the screen, they were incredible to listen to. So there were a couple of parts where Mike LaFleur was breaking down Corey Davis on film. He was breaking down Zach Wilson on film. And just, some of the things, some of the subtle nuances that, a general fan might not pick up on. He was kind of showing us some specifics. And it was just wonderful to listen to. And Jeff Ulbrich, he also had a pretty awesome quote. He was talking about the philosophy and the scheme that they're going to be implementing on defense. And one of the things that I wrote down was he wrote the defense, it's this essence of ball type of stuff. So essence of ball type stuff, it's just like the pure fundamentals, like the origins of the game, tackling, knowing your assignments, those types of things, like the real nitty and gritty of football. Yes, and they talked about that over and over again, Zachary. I'm glad you're here tonight, dude. Thanks again for checking out the channel. He says the most important word in this production was communication. They said it, and they pounded it, and Robert Saleh, in his interview, pounded that on the table. Over communication, I think, is even the term that he used. over communicating so that there's never a doubt, that everybody knows, what people are thinking in the room, and just making sure that there's nothing left, unsaid. Sean Bennett, it's good to see you in the chat. He says, haven't watched yet. Spoiler alert. Well, read the freaking title of the stream, brother. This is the Take Flight 21 recap show, man. If you haven't watched Sean Bennett, go watch it, dude. It's fantastic. I mean, there's not really spoilers because we all know what happens, but some of the quotes in this, this miniseries were just absolutely awesome. Some of my other takeaways, I really loved, hearing from the different scouts. Like, that was actually one of the surprises for me, was listening to, people like Chad Alexander, Phil Savage. There were a couple of other people that they had on there very explicitly talking, and they were a part of the scout team. And they were awesome to listen to. They talked about their process. At one point, they had mentioned how they have about 1,500 different players that they scout during the off season, and they have to narrow that down, obviously, to about 300. And then he said, out of those 300, there's about 100 that you're really, really, really excited to draft. And it doesn't mean that there aren't more than 100 players that are really good in the draft. It just means that there's 100 players that they feel really good about, like truly special players that can change the culture of a team. And they also talked about how Elijah Moore, they had him as one of the scouts had him as the 16th best player in the entire draft. So we ended up, according to that scout, with 3 players within the top 16 of the draft, which is just incredible. Great value, having pick 2, pick 14 after trading up from 23, and then obviously the 34th pick overall. Thomas Hewitt, let's go, man! I know. There needs to be a shirt made or something with Robert Saleh pounding the table and screaming, let's go, man! Yeah, that was a special moment. I had seen that before. I think most Jets fans had seen that part before, but it's still really cool to see it. So listen, I'm rambling on about Flight 2021. If you guys want to talk about something else in the chat, throw it in there. If you want to talk about a little bit about Morgan Moses, where's this dude? Why haven't we signed him? We had reports, I think it was like either Wednesday or Thursday, that he was going to be signed. And it hasn't happened. And it's making me real nervous, I'll be perfectly honest with you. The fact that he has not signed with the Jets, this is one of my big moves that this team should make and needs to make. We need to solidify that right side. And I agree, Thomas. That's exactly what wrong button. That's exactly how I've looked at this. It's taking longer than I expected. So I'm worried that Moses may be trying to do what often a lot of people have done in free agency with the Jets, which is to use them as a tool to get more money from another team. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but it's freaking me out a little bit, and I really do want him bad. I want him on the Jets because I think Morgan Moses on the right side allows us to run either side. I think the left side and the right side, we can run and have very, very good success on both sides. So we're just going to have to wait and see here. We got a bunch of chat in here. Vervain, welcome back, dude. I saw you on the last stream. It's great to have you again. So welcome, dude. Great to have you again. Let's see. Zachary again. Thank you, Zachary. Filling up that chat box, dude. Let's go. He says, did you see Mike LaFleur calling out the Titans quarterback for throwing the ball a little bit behind him? He says, love our OC. He did call him out, but he did quickly say, still a good ball. I do remember that, though. He did say it very specifically. A little bit behind him. Still a good ball, but yeah, man. It was very cool. And I think that's the one thing that I was excited about when we signed Corey Davis, and I made a video right after we signed him. When we signed him, I loved the physicality that he brought. Not just as a run blocker, because he can run block. He's a very, very tough wide receiver to tackle. This is a big dude, 6'3", 215. and he runs. He runs really, really well. So for a dude that size and as strong as he is and as big as he is not easy to tackle. He has a very, very good stiff arm. And so they talked a little bit about that in the Flight 2021. Yeah, Thomas, same thing. I think I said that earlier. Anthony Galero says, who in your opinion is going to be Zach's main target? We can sit here and we can talk a little bit about this. This is a great question. It was one that I think all Jets fans were eager to talk about once the draft ended because we knew we had Elijah Moore. We knew we had Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, and in the second round just the year prior, Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder. There are a number of dudes that could be Zach's main target. And when we say main target, we don't mean that he's only going to have one guy. We mean that he's going to have a guy that he really enjoys throwing to and maybe looks to on key downs. And so, for me, right now, I'm leaning towards Corey Davis. I know a lot of fans want to say Elijah Moore, and maybe that could be. Maybe later in the season, maybe these two could be the connection to be watching the most. But for me, early on in the season, I think we need to go to the veteran. And so Corey Davis, I think, is set up. He's got his, he's been in the NFL now for a couple of years. He has plenty of experience. He's done it. He's produced as a wide receiver too now. Now he's in an offense where we've got a quarterback that can really target him quite well on the outside. And that's one of the things that Zach Wilson does really nicely. We've talked a lot about it on the channel. He can hit people on the outside, and these back shoulder throws, again, I think that Denzel Mims and Corey Davis both can excel at this. So for me, it's really between Corey Davis and maybe a Denzel Mims. I think one of those two should be the number one target early, specifically in the season. And so my favorite right now has to be Corey Davis, just because he is the veteran. Jamison Crowder is obviously a veteran too, but he's not going to be, in my opinion, he should not be the number one target on the offense. I think that would be problematic. That would mean that, Zach Wilson was having a hard time developing chemistry with the other two, and that would be bad in my mind. We need to have one of these outside guys be the number one wide receiver moving forward. So, that's my short answer. I would say Corey Davis, and with potential, down the road, maybe Elijah Moore ultimately, because, this is a kid that can line up on the outside too. Elijah Moore is not restricted to the slot. He is smaller, but he can play on the outside. All right, good question. Vervain says, just finished it. Really cool to see behind the scenes of the draft. Yes. That was the thing that I loved, was the pre-draft meetings. Seeing their conversations, seeing how one person kind of like presented them, like the player, and then they all kind of just gave input, after they were done presenting. Just really shows you how organized these teams are and how high of a level they function at. Let's see. Watch tomorrow morning. Sports news outlets be like Chicago. Gitmo Bob says Moses is just an average pass blocker. Don't know if that's an issue. So he's not, you said average, so I'm not going to knock you for that. He is about average. So I think he graded out at like 15th as pass blocker, according to PFF last year, which some might argue is probably even above average, considering there are, 64 starting offensive tackles in the NFL. And so do keep that in mind, that PFF's rankings or their metrics, it's not just looking at right tackles, it's looking at left tackles and right tackles, and then they do an averaging, of all of those positions, those two positions. So of all of the left tackles and all of the right tackles that played last year, he was, I believe, 15th, with pass blocking. So it's not crazy to say he's an average pass blocker. I would lean towards more of he is a above average pass blocker, and I think that that's an upgrade. And I think that's what Jets fans need to wrap their heads around. We don't need to cut Fant. We don't need to have him have zero role on the team, being a backup and a swing tackle. He'll get on the field still as a sixth offensive lineman, and I think that would still be really, really good for him. Like, he would be able to thrive in that role. So, to me, Moses is a no-brainer because he is a better pass blocker than Fant, but more importantly, he's a dominant run blocker. Eighth best in the NFL according to PFF. So I am all over Morgan Moses, and I won't sugarcoat it. I think that this would be one of the bigger moves that we could make in the free agency realm of the offseason. I know Corey Davis is very popular. He's popular with me too. Carl Lawson probably is the biggest signing that we made in free agency, but I think I would put Morgan Moses right there in importance level with Corey Davis. I think those two players alone together, they are in the same category as, good, like as far as talent wise. Let me know what you guys think about that. Morgan Moses being, in the top 3 as far as best free agent signings in the offseason. And it's June, which would be incredible. That's just crazy to me. Let's see. Zachary says, do you think... Wait, what? Are you kidding me, Sean Bennett? Did he actually sign with them? If he did, if he didn't, I'm going to attack you. There is nothing. You are just a jerk. I'm going to kill you. If that's not true, I'm going to kill you. Let's see. Do you think Rex Hogan will be poached for a GM job? Zachary, he could be if things go really, really well. But that's not a concern of mine. If that happens, we all need to celebrate, because that means something went really, really good. Zach Wilson worked out really good. Our draft class went really, really well. So could that happen? Of course, anything can happen. If it happens, I'm all for it. I'm very excited about that. So anyway, yeah, that would be a great thing. Anthony Galero says, I agree, it's going to be Corey Davis. Sean Bennett says, would be lovely if both pass the 1,000 yard mark. Excuse me. Yeah, a la like Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall. That was the last pairing that the Jets had that did that. It's a very, very high mark. I don't know if that'll happen this season. Maybe in 2022. I'd be shocked if it happened in 21 though. But still, that would be awesome. All right. It sounds like Anthony Galero says, it sounds like Zach Wilson and Corey Davis are building good chemistry together. Yeah, man. The rookie throwing to the veteran, the big veteran, the one that can make plays downfield, over the middle. He can do a little bit of running after the catch. I'm all for it. Zachary Berner. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. He says, with this past OTA/minicamp, it's good to have Zach comfortable with all the wideouts for the season, just in case. That is a good point, and I don't think enough Jets fans realize that when, we saw him connecting with Keelan Cole a lot. We saw him connecting with Braxton Berrios. That's a good thing. And I think a lot of fans got a little bit crazy. They got lost in the sauce, suggesting that Berrios, may end up being one of our top receivers. Keelan Cole, a lot of people have been talking about him as the number 2 wide receiver on the team, and maybe that does happen. I don't know. I don't think so. A lot of people that I talk to, and myself included, I feel like Denzel Mims still has the very, very high ability to become a number 2 wide receiver in this offense and in the NFL. So the fact that he is developing with Keelan Cole, Braxton Berrios, all of these guys is a very, very good sign. It's not just going to be a connection with the first 2 receivers. He's going to have some serious chemistry with these other guys too. So yes, that's a great point to make. Did you see Corey Davis shut down? Yes. We talked about it on the live stream on Wednesday. Yeah, he shut him down nicely. Trying to talk about Sam Darnold in June. And we made that trade back in March, I think, right? Or maybe it was April, I don't know. Why in the hell are we still talking about Sam Darnold? I got into a little bit of a discussion online this week with somebody. They were talking about, week 1, the Jets versus Darnold. And then it somehow tailspinned into a Darnold conversation. And there we were. We were arguing about Sam Darnold on the Jets and what went wrong and what went right. Whose fault was it? I am not in the mood to talk about that anymore. Like, I don't know about you guys, but it's exhausting. And it has been exhausted. That topic, it's done in my mind. We can move on from that. But you're right, though. It was great to see Corey Davis basically just say, no, we ain't talking about this. No, thank you. Sean Bennett says, Jason Pinnock has an INT against Zach Wilson. Hope he turns out to be a Richard Sherman type cornerback. Yeah. Same thing with Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall was drafted in the 5th round, and I'm pretty sure that Richard Sherman was drafted in the 5th round from Stanford as well. So, yeah, any of these late round corners that we've drafted, they don't have to be as good as Sherman, but it would be nice if we could get some serious value late in the draft, to go along with our early picks that we're very, very high on. I feel like the Jets have done okay at times picking early in the draft in the 1st round. But then after that, it's just like the wheels come flying off. Our 2nd round has been terrible for years. The mid rounds have been no better. We've found some players in the late rounds and in the undrafted realm of the offseason. It's time to start hitting on some of these mid-round picks, guys. We got to start finding players that can contribute, not just as starters, special teamers, in a role on defense, in a role on offense, not as exclusively as a starter. Of course, you want to get as many starters as you can. That's the goal with every pick. You want to get a starter at every spot, but it just doesn't work like that. It doesn't happen. That's not the life. That's not the way things work in the NFL. So you're lucky to get 3 to 4 starters in any one draft. That would be a tremendous success. So, yeah, if we could get one of these guys to pan out like a Richard Sherman, to be a good football player in the late rounds, I think is very, very important. Not just in this past draft, but in the 2020 draft. We need somebody to step up. One of those 3rd round picks. Ashton Davis. Come on, man. We need you. We need you to become at least a good, solid 3rd safety on this team. A lot of people looked at him as the starter, and myself included. We wanted him to become a starter on this team. But there's no guarantee that happens. And so if it doesn't happen, okay, that's fine. We hope and we pray that he becomes at least a good rotational safety that, when they bring out 3 safeties on the field, he can come out there and he can do okay. And he can play in that role and contribute on special teams. Like, that's the thing. The Jets just miss so often in these late round picks and mid round picks specifically. We need to start hitting on these 3rd to 5th round picks and getting some contributors and making sure that we have players on this team that are young and talented. All right. If you want all the Zach Wilson plays from 2020, I got you. I can send it to you on Twitter. My man, are we following each other on Twitter, Zachary Burner? Because if we're not, dude, come at me. My Twitter is on the screen right now. At MYJ Today. Let's do it, man. I'm on Twitter all the time. I love Twitter. I was tweeting all night while I was watching the Take Flight 21. So yeah, definitely, dude. Set me up. I will be all over that. Just as a quick heads up, guys, on Wednesday, so not tomorrow, but on Wednesday, we are going to have another live stream. And James Wighouse from Jets X Factor is going to be coming on. And we're going to do a live film breakdown of Bryce Hall, cornerback out of Virginia. And we're also going to do a live film breakdown of wide receiver Denzel Mims. So if you're one of those people that maybe is nervous about Denzel Mims, he hasn't quite, caught your eye in OTAs and minicamp, this is for you to get you to believe in him again. If you're one of those people that's hyped up about him, James Wighouse is a firm believer, and Jets X Factor in general, actually, if you guys didn't know, The people at Jets X Factor are supremely high on Denzel Mims. They believe that he's going to be a borderline Pro Bowler, if not this year, next year. So if you're one of those people, you're kind of in the middle even. Come watch. Come hang out with us on Wednesday. We're going to do that live breakdown. We'll have the film up on the screen. It looks something like this. We'll have the actual game tape on the screen. So that way you can kind of see or you can hear, I should say, and you can see what James is talking about while he's breaking it down. He is a very, very good X's and O's person. He is above all of us, or most of us, I should say, unless you coach football. He knows a lot about the game. And so he's able to pick up on some things that we don't know as general fans. And that's what I would classify myself as. I am just a fan of football and a very, very big-time fan of the New York Jets. So again, if you have not checked us out for our live streams, do that. If you're live with us right now and you've never subscribed, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I should say, we are doing a giveaway for when we reach 1,000 subscribers, which we're getting closer and closer to. We're going to give away this free signed mini helmet. It was signed by Wayne Chrebet. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. We would love to interact with you guys. If there's anybody that wants to call into the show, I do have the phone number on the screen. It is in the bottom right corner underneath the phone emoji. Give me a call. We can talk a little bit before I end the stream tonight. If you guys are enjoying the stream, also hit the like button. Would really appreciate that. I'm going to be doing more streams, over the summer than I was doing during the school year. So if you're addicted to Jets content like I am, it's going to be more and more on the channel and more streams to talk Jets football with you guys. I want to do call-in episodes. I want to do, episodes where you guys are the voice of NYJ today. Like, that's the thing that, like, I've been saying. That's, like, the mission statement of my channel is you guys, you need to be as much of a voice of this channel as I am a voice of this channel. And so if you are one of those people that enjoys calling in, if you enjoy interacting, in live streams, feel free to give me a call and we can talk some Jets football. I just love the direction of the team, man. That Flight 2021 stuff got me all juiced up and fired up. So anyway, if you're fired up too, let me know. Zach Brenner, thank you so much for sending that in, dude. Hopefully we can talk more on social media. Let's see. Gitmo says, why are people losing their minds over Mims just because he was ill and was eased into minicamp? Exactly, Gitmo. Exactly. This is the thing, like, we were all, Jets fans, all so fired up when we were able to land Denzel Mims in the second round, when Joe Douglas did that trade back maneuver in the second round. People were pulling their hair out going, why did you trade back? We had Denzel Mims sitting right there in front of us. And then he still got him after trading back. It was a huge draft pick. And it's still a huge draft pick. Denzel Mims. Do not sleep on Denzel Mims. He's just getting started. His career is so young. It takes... In a lot of cases, and I would even say in maybe most cases, it takes wide receivers anywhere from 2 to 3 years to really get going in the NFL. Of course, you have your circumstances, with the Vikings wide receiver last year, Justin Jefferson. I mean, he just came in and just blew it up. Odell Beckham Jr. came in the NFL and just blew it up right away. That can happen. But in most cases, it does not. That's not how that works. There's a lot to learn when you come into the NFL. It's not just a mental game, it's a physical game too. A lot of these guys have to learn how to take on the rigors and the challenges that come with being on an NFL football team. So anyway, long story short, don't sleep on Denzel Mims. He's just getting his career going. And so yeah, Gitmo, I'm with you 100%, bro. It's too early to be worried about Denzel Mims. It's his second off season, and the first off season he had was a pandemic off season. It wasn't even a real off season. So he's still got more to learn. And yes, of course, the nagging injuries that he had last year, the hamstring injuries, he is going to need to get into better, physical condition to be able to handle it. And that happens. Odell Beckham had hamstring issues in his rookie season. If you don't recall, before he got onto the field, he was hamstrung. Odell Beckham Jr. needed some time to get, used to life in the NFL. So, all right, let's get to some more comments. Vervain, he says, I agree with your thoughts from yesterday's video. Ty Johnson is going to be a breakout player for the Jets. I think he has a similar skill set to what Mostert does in San Francisco. Dude, you and I, and there's a bunch of other people. There's a great guy on Twitter. And I think I need to find his Twitter handle. His name's Brian. And he's awesome. He is absolutely awesome. And he's been pounding the table for Ty Johnson. I've been pounding the table for Ty Johnson too. And the thing that, we're all so excited we've got Michael Carter. Okay? Most people are super excited about Michael Carter being drafted in the 4th round. Highly elusive, explosive, makes big plays, can be a receiver. I'm hyped up about Michael Carter. But I'm still of the frame of mind that Ty Johnson needs to get his touches in this offense. And I agree with you, Vervain. He has a similar skill set to what Mostert does. Now, he's not as fast as Mostert, and I don't think that's what you're saying here. But he is he has that long speed, which is pretty rare at running back. Not everybody is a burner at running back. I think Ty Johnson's got some serious wheels to him. And if you get him on the move here on the wide zone scheme, which we are 100% running, they literally have alluded to it now in the 21 or the Flight 21 mini series. If he gets ahead full steam, if he's running on the left side behind Elijah Vera-Tucker and Mekhi Becton, he can go. He can go the distance. If he gets some space, watch out. And I don't think he is the fastest running back. I don't think he's the strongest running back. He's a good all-around back. And those types of players have success in the Shanahan system. It doesn't take a first-round running back, a second-round running back to have success running the football in the NFL. If you've been watching football for a long time, you should know that. There have been so many circumstances where running backs in the mid to late rounds become stars. And so I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't think Ty Johnson is on the precipice of stardom. That's not what I'm saying. But I agree with you, Vervain. He should be counted on to be as a somewhat breakout player this year. I think that he should get the majority of the touches week 1. I think that Tevin Coleman should be the third down back as a receiver and as a pass protector for Zach Wilson on blitzes. And I do believe that Michael Carter should get touches as well. And the thing is, when you've got a committee like that, you go to the hot hand. Who's performing well? Give them the touches. If it's Ty Johnson on that night, feed him. Give him the ball. Let him run behind our offensive line that is upgraded and could be even more upgraded with Morgan Moses. If it's Michael Carter, the young kid, the rookie we just drafted in the 4th round, give him the rock. I'm not one of those people that I want Ty Johnson to break out just so I can say I was right. I'm picking him because I think he has the ability and he would fit the scheme really well. So, long story short, agreed. Thanks for commenting and thank you for watching the video. If you're not sure what he's talking about, if you're watching this live or if you're watching it after it aired, I did post a video on Sunday morning. And it's the Keys to Success series. If you haven't been watching it, go ahead. There's 5 videos on the channel right now. And this is the video that he's referring to. And I talked a lot about Ty Johnson. And I think he should be viewed as the guy that I believe should get the majority of the work in the backfield early in the season. There are people that disagree with me, though. There are people that think that Michael Carter should be just given the ball let him do his thing. And yeah, that could be the case. They may end up doing that, but I really do like Ty Johnson quite a bit. Ty Johnson will be a Green Lantern. I hope so. Carrying it to the end zone. Okay, so Zachary Browner just said, and the Zach Wilson video is an amazing 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Yes! Content for me to watch. You've watched it 3 times. That's awesome, man. And you're a real fan. If you're watching, if you're that invested to watch, not just film, but like your, specific players and really learn who they are as a prospect, then you are a fan of the New York Jets. Welcome. Gitmo Bob says, Mims' one weakness is route running, which is a coachable skill. Agreed. 100%. It is a coachable skill. And I think that Mims will get better, and maybe he doesn't need to be the best route runner on the team to have success. I don't want to undersell route running at a wide receiver position. That's a very big skill to have. But you're right, Gitmo. It is a coachable skill. And you just got to think that LaFleur, who has coached wide receivers before, will be able to get the most out of him. You just have to hope that that's the case. KP, don't recall if you've been in the streams before. If you have, I apologize. If you haven't, welcome. Good to see you in the chat. He's got that BYU profile, so we know he's going to talk a little bit about Zach. He says, just finished flight 2021, and it's safe to say that I have zero concerns about the Jets' direction going forward. I trust the decision-making processes of Douglas and Saleh and their staffs. Well said. Very well said. And again, like the thing that I loved the most out of all of the flight 2021 was listening to the coaching staff. Jeff Ulbrich, Robert Saleh, Mike LaFleur. Those were the guys that I listened to the closest, and they were just singing songs, sweet, sweet songs to me that I wanted to listen to for a long time, and I just haven't heard the music play. They were great. They were absolutely awesome. KP, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, dude, would love to have you consider joining. Would love to have somebody who has been following Zach Wilson continue to follow him on this channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Vervain says, Johnny Johnson. Wow, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Oh, workhorse. Gitmo says, San Fran's system always rotates running backs. The game plan will determine who gets the most touches in a particular game. And that's true. And I think also the hot hand is like a thing. Like that is a thing that you hear coaching staffs will say. Like they will say they will, dude, awesome. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate that. Yes, you will often hear coaches talk about how it's really just game plan dependent. And so if they know they're facing a really heavy blitz team, maybe Tevin Coleman's the guy that gets a lot of reps in that week because he's going to be a little bit more adept and he's going to have a little bit more knowledge on how to not only react to the blitzes, but recognizing the blitzes, because that's something that running backs have to be able to do. They have to recognize it, and then they have to know where to go and who to block on blitzes. So you're right about that. And I think also riding the hot hand is a thing as well. But you are 100% correct. Game plan dependent, and let the player who can attack the defense the best, let them play. Sorry, guys, I'm doing a lot of talking. These solo podcasts are so different from what I'm used to doing because I always have people on with me. So doing the solo ones, I have to take a second every once in a while, catch my breath, and get a swig of water as well. Let's see. I think we're talking about Johnny Johnson still. Was a bit too young to remember him, but I had his trading card as a kid. I also had a Blair Thomas. My dad always told me to throw it out. Oh, that's funny. I'm going to give you a Jets chant for that one. Oh, that's hilarious. There are so many things like that I remember my dad doing, just funny stuff like that, just saying funny stuff about the Jets. What are you going to do? All right, so Zachary, he says, so what is us football fans going to do in this dead period? That's a great question. So, Zachary, that's what I kind of like. I want this channel to be the gap, the bridge filler, the gap filler. I want it to be the bridge to the season. Who's going to week 2? I'm going. I'm going to the opening game. So we're waiting for those moments. We're waiting to get back to football. And so the month of July, you said it best. Month of June, I should say. Month of June, part of July is just dead. There's nothing going on. And so we're really just waiting for training camp. And so the only thing we can do is talk football. And that's what I'm going to continue to do on the channel for the next 4 weeks. We're going to keep doing film breakdowns with James Wighouse. We're going to analyze the players that are on the roster. And we're just going to learn more and more about this team. Because, guys, I feel like as fans that attend a stream, you guys genuinely care about the Jets. You want them to do well. You want to learn about the team. And so that's what the direction of the next 4 weeks is going to be on the channel. It's going to be informing you about the players and to get excited about players. So Wednesday night, we're going to do, like I already mentioned earlier, we're going to do a film breakdown of Bryce Hall, cornerback. We're going to do a film breakdown of wide receiver Denzel Mims. 2 weeks ago, we did Quentin Williams and Elijah Vera-Tucker. And so the following week, we'll do another 2 players, and we're just going to keep going. We're just going to learn more and more about the players that are on this team. So that's what we're going to do. Blair Thomas. Monday night game against the Bears was his best game. I'm going to week 2, and that's my first Jets game I am going to. I am excited. Dude, congratulations, man. That's awesome. So, I remember my first game. It was 2001. So, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we played the Indianapolis Colts, Peyton Manning, Herman Edwards' first game as head coach. I was there for that one, and they got their butts kicked. The Jets lost. They lost. I think it was 42-21 or something really ugly. We got our butts handed to us in that game. But yeah, dude, you'll never forget your first Jets game. I mean, I'm super happy for you, excited that you get to go to your first Jets game. You picked a great freaking week to go to your first game, by the way, because it is going to be a madhouse in that stadium. I'm going with my wife. I'm going to definitely be trying to meet up with some people who are going to that game. As we get closer, I'll try to set that up, maybe a little NYJ Today meetup. But anyway, you picked an awesome game to go to. It's going to be super loud in there. I'm planning on losing my voice, when we go to that game. It's just going to be, it's going to be it's going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. When you consider the hype that comes with a new season, that's going to automatically guarantee it's loud. When you factor in the fact that we have a new head coach, a new quarterback, a bunch of new players that are very, very talented through free agency and the draft, it's just going to be that much louder because of that. And when you factor in there were no fans in the stands in 2020. People are ready to get back to normal, and people are ready to go to football games and just scream their guts out. So, great choice, my friend. Great choice. Sean Bennett says, analysis. Zach's mom, more this summer. LOL. Just kidding. Yeah, we're not going to analyze her. She's a lovely lady, though. No comment. Gitmo Bob. Zachary, that's easy. Jets fans will lose their minds over every little rumor or Samini BS column. Yeah, Gitmo, what did you think about... I was kind of surprised by Jets fans and the way they reacted to the guy on CBS, and his name is slipping my mind right now. The guy with the glasses, what is it? Jason Lockenfora. People were losing their ever-loving minds over that ranking that he did of the new head coaches. He put Robert Saleh as the second worst hire in the NFL. He only had him ahead of the Houston Texans head coach. I personally, when I saw that, I laughed at it and I moved along with my day. And unfortunately, what happens with, and it's like you said, a lot of Jets fans just lose their minds over stuff. And that's exactly what happened. Jason La Canfora accomplished exactly what he was hoping for. He wanted attention. And he knew, what fan base would be better to attack than Jets fans? Because he knows he'll get a rise out of us. And I wish that it hadn't been the case. I wish more fans had just, let it go and ignored it, essentially. But unfortunately, everybody reacted to it, so it is what it is. You're right, though. You're 100% right. Sean Bennett says, my first game was 1986 against the Giants. In overtime, the Jets lost. I feel like if your first game isn't a loss, then you're not doing it right. Like, I feel like you have to experience heartbreak before you can experience great games in attendance. Yeah, agreed, Zachary. Basketball fans are insane. The fighting is no joke, and I think that's out of line. Call me old if you want. It's inappropriate. It shouldn't be happening. You should be able to go to a game, a sporting event, without having to worry about somebody getting their lights knocked out. So anyway, that's just my personal take. People should just go to these games, get drunk, have a good time, be merry, and have a good time. But that doesn't happen enough. KP says, I'm even stoked about the preseason. I haven't been that way since I first fell in love with football. Dude, that's awesome. I'm always ravenous for the Jets, man. I don't know what it is. I mean, I've been watching this team for a long time now, 25 years. And it's every season. It's like Christmas. You just can't help it. You get excited. You want to open up the presents and see what you got. It's the same thing. We all want to see how this turns out. So, yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm excited. Preseason can't get here soon enough. We will be doing, live streams to recap those games. And, KP, I hope you come out on Wednesday night. I hope you attend the live stream that we're going to do on this Wednesday at 8 p.m. And if you don't watch it live, watch it afterwards. Hope you enjoy it. I'm really, really excited to talk about the Jets, man. I look forward to, because this channel's only been on, online for about 6 months now. I'm really looking forward to actually talking about the actual, product on the field, what we're watching, and breaking it down, giving my own 2 cents on how we won games, how we lost games, things that I noticed in the games themselves. I'm not a great football mind, but I've been watching football long enough now. I feel like I do offer pretty good insight, and that's the stuff that I love to talk about. I like to talk about what's going on the field, so. Yeah, Sean Bennett says, you saw that Phoenix fan beat the kid with the 2 I can't even read what you're saying. Gitmo says, some guys throw out the bait and wait to catch a big one. Yeah, I think you're right about that, trying to get in a fight, basically. Yeah, I don't go to games for that. I go to games to watch my team, have fun with the people I'm with. That's what I'm about. All right, Zachary, he says, how will NFL teams handle the 3-game preseason for the starters and the backups, to how they play and how much? That's a great question. I think it's going to be the first game. It'll be kind of similar to what it was before. Maybe a little bit more action for the starters. They used to play one drive and then they'd get off the field after the first game. I think this first game, now they'll play maybe a drive or 2, maybe 3, play the first quarter, something like that, and then get off the field. I think week 2 in the preseason is now going to be week 3 of the old preseason format. So that's going to be the one where they play the first half and then maybe come out in the third quarter and play a drive or 2, and then they're done for the night. And then I think the third game of this new preseason format will be very similar to what the fourth game was prior. So they won't play. And I think the reasoning behind that is to give their guys plenty of opportunity to rest, to get all of those soft tissue injuries healed up, and get ready for the regular season. Because listen, that's a grind. They have a long season. And so, to me, that's how I see it shaking out. A little like a first quarter in the first game, a first half, and plus in the second game, and then third game it's going to be a ghost town. We're going to see a bunch of players trying to make the team, playing a lot. Good question. Let's see. Gitmo, he says, my first game was in the early 70s against the Fish at Shea Stadium, excuse me. The worst place in football to see a game. It was November. It was freezing, and I could see very little of the game. There you go. You've been around. You've been watching football a long time, Gitmo. I didn't realize that. And Gitmo, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you from the Gang Green? And if you are, I need to know your username, sir. I would love to know. And by the way, if anybody who's watching the channel is from the Gang Green, I would love if you guys could tell me who you are from the Gang Green, because I've been there since 2004 on the Gang Green, so I've been there for a very, very long time. Zachary says the NFL wants to try to get a 18-game season in 2025, I heard. Ugh. Listen, man, you're probably right. You're probably right. I hate it. I wish... I'll say this carefully. I wish that money wasn't the only driving force. I know that it is the main driving force in the NFL, but I feel like it's such a perfect formula that they have right now. They keep changing things, and it's their prerogative. It's their product. They can do with it what they want. But I just wish that they wouldn't extend the season. We've seen what that does to other sports. So, anyway, I just think, I just wish they weren't extending the season. And I hope that they don't do that. So, we'll see. Sean Bennett says Sam's going to get steamrolled in week 1. Carl Lawson is going to have a Darnold sandwich with a touch of mono. I agree. I think we win that game. And I've become more confident the more I think about that matchup. I think we will actually run the ball on the Panthers quite a bit. And I think more than we realize. I think they're going to want to keep Sam off the field, number one. They're going to want to, eliminate his opportunities to make, a game of it. They're going to want to keep Christian McCaffrey off the field. I think the Jets are going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball really, really successfully. Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera-Tucker, I think they can push people around on that Carolina defensive line. I know they have some really good ones. They drafted a couple last year. They still have Brian Burns on the edge, but those guys are more known for their pass rushing. So I would like to see us take the wind out of their sails and run the ball at them and attack them that way. And I also agree with you. The defensive line, our defensive line, I would say that our offensive line is better than the Panthers. So we're going to be able to protect Wilson a little bit better than they will protect Darnold. And I think Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins, they're all going to have their opportunities to get after and hit Sam. And I think that's the game. The line of scrimmage, specifically in this game, I believe will win the football game. If we hit Darnold and pressure Darnold more than they pressure Zach Wilson, I think that will lead to a win. I think if we are able to control the line of scrimmage and run the ball efficiently and effectively, I think we win. If Christian McCaffrey's running wild all over us, that's a problem. That could be an issue. Because then if Christian McCaffrey is dominating, which he's more than capable of doing, then it's going to help Sam. And then Sam's going to be able to use play action, and he's going to be able to get the ball out of his hands quickly to some of these very, very fast wide receivers. So the line of scrimmage to me, it's the key. That game specifically. Not every game you look at that and say, yep, line of scrimmage. A lot of games you will, but in this game specifically, I feel like it is going to be a line of scrimmage battle. Vern, good to see you in the chat, dude. Beers, cheers. to you. Gitmo, I didn't realize. Okay. I thought for sure you were from the Gang Green, but if you are just a fan of Jets YouTubers, then you are more than welcome here. No worries. Agreed, KP. We're going to have problems. The more games they add, it's going to do a lot of not good things. We're going to have injuries. It's going to decrease the importance of each game in the NFL. That's the beautiful thing. It's one of the shortest seasons in all of sports, if not the shortest. And so every game is critical. If you drop a game in December, it feels like you lost 2. And those games come down to the wire sometimes. In the when you're looking at November and December football, those are big games. And the longer the season you make it, the more you expand the playoffs. If they continue to do that, I think it's a problem. Okay, let's see. Gitmo says, an 18-game season will come down to the survival of the fittest, not who is the best team. Better increase roster size and recategorize all records. Yeah, that's the other thing I don't like is how it changes the statistical rankings and stats. Ugh, I don't like it. Zachary says the Jets have 10 home games because of the UK game and will have a lot of Jets fans. Who is the Panthers' left tackle? I don't know. I do not know. I know they have a solid right tackle in Taylor Moton. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Taylor Moton or Moton. I don't know who their left tackle is. And I don't think they have I don't think they have a very great, I don't think they have a very good offensive line. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's an average offensive line. I think it might be a below average offensive line. Darnold doesn't strike me as a vengeful type of player. Well, you know what? Darnold, he needs to get an edge to him. And I like Sam Darnold a lot. I like him as a person. I think he's a good kid. And after week 1, I am rooting for him. And I know that irritates some people. I'm not rooting for the Panthers to win, but I am rooting for Darnold to have success. He needs to get an edge to him, and he needs to become vengeful. He needs to have a killer instinct, and he has lacked that a little bit. And I know that the supporting cast around him wasn't great. We can all agree on that one. But he needs to step up. He needs to play better than he needs to play better than a bottom 5 quarterback in the National Football League, which is what he has done. So I agree with you. He doesn't strike me as a vengeful person, but he needs to become one. He needs to become a guy that's got that killer instinct and wants to win at all costs. Vern says, we all hate how short the season is. Let's be real. I actually disagree, Vern. I disagree. That's what makes it so damn sweet. The season is shorter, and the quality of the product is excellent because of that. So, do I think that this NFL season is going to be bad because we have an extra game? No, I don't. But I do think that it impacts stats and records and things like that. And if you're talking about adding another game, I just think that's just too much. Why are we changing it? It has been the dominant sport in America for a long time now. Football is king. It's the biggest moneymaker. It gets the most people watching on television. It gets the most butts in the stadium to watch the games. So yeah, I disagree. I would say the short season is perfect. And maybe you're just joking. Maybe you're saying that because we all wish we could watch more football all year long. Maybe that's what you're saying. And if that's the case, I agree. Sean Bennett, agreed. He's going to need one, though. He's got a big task ahead of him this season. He is competing. Forget about week 1. Forget that it even exists. He's facing a turning point. He's facing a fork in the road. He needs to get going, and he needs to produce, and he needs to play well. He was the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft, and he didn't perform in New York. They have plenty of weapons there in Carolina. He doesn't need to become all of a sudden a top 10 quarterback to be successful, but he needs to become a mid-tier, at worst, starting quarterback in the NFL, or else it's a failed experiment for the Panthers. He needs to step up. And again, he doesn't need to be a jerk, but he does need to become he needs to have a killer instinct. He needs to lead the football team. No more, quiet leadership. Become a leader of men. I know you're only still 24 years old. You're a young kid still. It's time to grow up. If he wants a career out of this, he's going to need to step up. Vervain, he says Cam Irving is the Panthers' left tackle, which isn't good, but he likely has Elflein starting next to him, which really doesn't bode well for Sam. Yeah, and if you guys don't know who Pat Elflein is, Pat Elflein was the guard that the Jets started, I believe, in the last 4 to 8 games. I don't remember how many games he started. He had some good tape last year, but not enough. And before that, he wasn't really anybody in the NFL. So I agree with you. That it doesn't bode well. So we'll just have to wait and see about the offensive line. Let's see. Gitmo Bob, we've already pushed the Super Bowl into February. 18 games will require another off week, which will push the season into spring training and the end of the NBA and NHL season. Yep. Dude, I'm with you. I am not in favor of it at all. Not at all. That's a great question. Zachary, if you're not in every live stream from this day moving forward, you are no longer welcome. I'll just say that because you're great. You're coming up with great questions. Coaches on the hot seat in the NFL. How about the Cowboys coach, Mike McCarthy? He's got his quarterback back. Dak Prescott is healthy. If they struggle and if they lose, if they have another losing season, I'm not saying he will be fired, but he could be, and he absolutely could be on the hot seat this season. Let me think of some other names. I'm going to go with Mike McCarthy as an initial. He popped into the old noggin right away. I don't think anybody in the AFC East. The North. Not the Browns, no. Bengals. Maybe the Bengals. Maybe they could face some scrutiny. I know their head coach is oh shoot. I'm not going to be able to remember his name. A young guy. I can't remember. But anyway, that guy, if they don't continue Burrow's development, that Grant Rude, what's up, dude? We need to catch up, Grant Rude. Things have changed about me and the channel. It's summer for me, baby. I don't have a job. I'm a teacher. We're going to be streaming all the time now. And I hope you guys enjoyed the thumbnail. By the way, before I get really off topic, I hope you guys enjoyed the thumbnail. It's going to be Wacky Town. Let me pull this up. Yeah, that's great. Michelle took that picture for me. I think it looks pretty cool, actually, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think it looks cool. Let's see. So other coaches on the hot seat. I can't really think of any more off the top of my head, but Mike McCarthy definitely goes to the top of my list. The Bengals head coach, I can't recall his name right now. Let's see. AFC West. Broncos. No, I don't think so. Chiefs, no. Not the hot. Oh, so he won't be fired. But John Gruden, that's a name to watch. He's going to start getting more scrutiny if they don't start to win some more football games pretty soon. They were looking pretty decent early, mid-season, and then the wheels fell off for them again. So, yeah. I'm going to throw Gruden's name in the list, too. I don't think he ends up getting fired, but he's going to be on the hot seat, I think. He's going to get some noise. Fantastic question. Vern says Darnold, stereotypical dumb blonde. Darnold is like a brute, like he's like a strawberry hair color. He's got like blonde and red hair. So typical blonde redhead. Dude, Quinnen Williams is going to go off. And they talked about him quite a bit. Jeff Ulbrich specifically was talking about Quinnen Williams in this defense. Yes, he will get healthy. I think Quinnen Williams and Mekhi Becton will both be healthy by the time the season rolls around, assuming they don't re-injure or get injured again in preseason. Yes, long story short, Grant Rude, I'm going to be streaming a lot this summer. I'm going to be doing a Monday night stream. I'm going to do some afternoon streams, kind of like the Can't Wait podcast. So yeah, I'm going to try to get different time zones, see if I can't reach out to new fans, basically. Because I've got time to kill, baby. I don't have a job right now. Zachary says the Raiders coach should be fired, but they can't fire him because of the contract they gave him. Yeah, the 10-year, $100 million contract or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's why they won't fire him. But, hot seat. He will face scrutiny if they don't start to win games. So, but McCarthy is my guy. Okay. I don't know if Joe Judge will be on the hot seat. I guess if it goes really bad, maybe. He did a very good job for the Giants last year, I thought. You know, you can say whatever you want about Daniel Jones, I think. I think that's all fair game. I thought Joe Judge did a pretty damn good job, though, with that team. With all the injuries they had, I think you have to tip your cap to Joe Judge. So, I agree. Dave Gettleman, I don't like Dave Gettleman. Yeah, I just saw a comment. Sorry. Yeah, Joe Judge, I think we can all knock him. But I think he did a nice job. I think Daniel Jones is definitely under pressure this year to perform well. Grant works in the morning, John. How dare you? Yeah, well, he'll be all right. Grant Rude, you can catch up. You can watch some of these streams after the fact. But yeah, there's going to be more streams going on during the during the summer vacation. Summer break. Yes. And I think that's what helps me do this. Seriously. You're exactly right. As a teacher, one of the main requirements is that you can talk. Seriously. I talk all day long as a teacher. And I think the only way to really keep kids engaged is to be almost like performing. If that makes any sense. I would be what you would call the funny teacher, the cool teacher. I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back or anything, but I try to make the kids laugh as much as possible. And so again, long story short, I just talk all day long and I'm just cracking jokes. That's what I do. Hey, my man, Grant Rude. So you have no excuse then. You're going to be in for every stream then. Yes. No work for me either, buddy. It's good times ahead. I cannot wait. This summer is going to be so sweet. Zachary, another on-point comment. He says, I think the Giants will regret not taking Moore over Tony. I won't lie to you. I'll never do that on this channel. I will never sugarcoat it. I will never pretend like I didn't say something if it goes bad. I was big on Kadarius Toney. Big time. I was a big fan of his. I still am. I still think a lot of him. But you're right. Now that I've learned more about Elijah Moore and Kadarius Toney even, I think that the Jets definitely got the better player here. Vern, he's in the chat right now telling everybody, don't worry, Vern. I'm going to tell everybody. Don't you worry. I did. It's true. But I don't regret it because I still, again, they may regret it, but I also think that the Giants, they got a good player. That's how I look at it. That's how I take it. I think Kadarius Toney is special. I think he's got elite elusiveness. If you throw on the tape of Kadarius Toney, he is kind of like Elijah Moore. He can line up on the outside. He can line up as a running back on certain plays. He can be put into motion. I think they're very similar. But to your point, Kadarius Toney might not be the same player off the field that Elijah Moore clearly is. And you're right. He wasn't at OTAs. He's talking about his rap album on Twitter. It's not a good look. I agree. So could this end up, blowing up in my face? Of course it could. And then you know what? I will never, I promise you, if you're subscribed to this channel, if you're just watching it now and you're still not subscribed, you're not really sure if you want to commit to it, I will never, ever hide when I'm wrong. Because I don't care. It doesn't bother me. And I like that. I like that I can be wrong and that it's like, we can talk about it. I can say what I saw in the player and kind of give you my insight on why I thought that way. I love Elijah Moore. And I agree. They may regret it. So we'll wait and see on that one. Still too early, though. Let's see. Shanahan. Interesting. Vervain. Didn't think of his name. Let's talk about him. Shanahan isn't on the hot seat. Oh, I'm sorry. You're saying he's not on the hot seat. I was thinking you were saying he was on the hot seat. Kyle Shanahan isn't on the hot seat, but he needs to make the playoffs or he will have missed it 4 out of the 5 years, with the one appearance being the Super Bowl appearance, was mostly due to Saleh's defense. I think that would be a mistake. If they ended up moving on from Kyle or even having him put on a hot seat. Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, he is borderline, offensive genius. He has everything you look for in a play caller and, as a coach of offense. I think he is very, very bright. McVay-like, and he's got the awesome scheme. I don't think he should go anywhere. And I think that, I'm worried about their quarterback. A lot of people love his name, not Justin Fields, not Mac Jones, Trey Lance. There we go. Trey Lance, 17 starts in his college career. That number typically does not translate well to the NFL. There's a ton to learn, to adjust to. He doesn't have a lot of starting experience in college, so if there was going to be something that could do him in, I think if Trey Lance does not pan out or if he just flat out busts, then we could be talking about some hot seat for Kyle Shanahan. I think if they miss the playoffs this year, I don't think it's great, and I think they should be a playoff, contender, especially if they get healthy, which they were not last year, my God. If they get healthy and they miss, that could be a problem for sure. Thank you, dear. I try my best. I am very goofy with the kids. I think the running backs will not have more than 800 yards with a 3-headed rushing attack. Yeah, I don't see a 1,000-yard runner on this team, and that's not a bad thing. I think that you can have a very successful offense with multiple running backs on the team getting run. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Michelle is hot for teachers, Sean. I was laughing at that comment earlier for sure. Let's see. Tony the Rapper. Tony had Pitts. And I think he's referring to Kyle Pitts, the tight end. Take pressure off of him. Moore was in possibly the most pass-happy offense in college football. Early indication says Moore has the better attitude. I love Moore for the Jets. And just like I was saying earlier, I'll never hide away from being wrong, which we don't know yet. But I will give full credit, and I have done it many times. Grant Rood is an established viewer of the channel. And he has been was talking all off season, weeks and weeks ahead of the draft, months even, about Elijah Moore. And he talked about how the Jets should try to get him. He didn't think they'd be in position to get him, but they should try to get him. And yeah, full credit to you, sir. I'll never stop giving you credit because it was awesome. Tony equals Le'Veon Bell. Yikes. More to the Jets was destiny. I don't know, man. Maybe. Who the hell knows? I think he and Zach Wilson can be special. I really do. I don't think right away. I think there's going to be some growing pains for the two of them to connect. But hey, you never know, man. Maybe they just get a rookie-to-rookie connection, and it just takes off from there. Maybe he's the number one wide receiver after this season. That's kind of how I see it potentially moving and playing out. This has been fun. I'm glad we did this. Monday night stream. This is good shit. Let's see. Moore looks like he will get the offense out of some serious jams. Agreed. Great comment. I agree. He's one of those guys where he can make something out of nothing. A busted play. A 3rd and long. You know, maybe after a first down, there's like a holding penalty. We're in 1st and 20. I feel like he's not only a threat to make a big play, he's also a threat to make a play when there's not necessarily a play to be made. And if you watch his tape, he does that a lot. He makes people miss. And that's why I liked Kadarius Toney so much. He can make stuff happen when there's not a lot to be made. So yeah, agreed. Let's see. More looks like that. Toney equals Chenault. Moore equals Debo. Chenault is a weapon. Debo is a weapon. I think there's a world that exists where both Kadarius Toney and Elijah Moore are successful. It's not impossible that one of them, struggles, or that, maybe even they both don't do well. But I believe that they could both pan out. I feel like the NFL is geared towards players like this now. Guys that are versatile, that can do more things. They're not just, not to knock on Jamison Crowder, but Jamison Crowder really is only good at one thing, which is the slot. And I feel like these guys, they can do a little bit of everything. They can go outside, they can go inside, line up in the running back position, they can go in motion, jet sweeps. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. Apparently Elijah Moore has a really good throwing arm too. I mean, we might see some trick plays with Elijah Moore this season, so I think that could end up working out for both New York teams. Let's see. Grant Rude says, I agree. Shanahan has to make the playoffs this year. Sitting his rookie QB will buy him at least another 2 years, though. Yeah, now that is one caveat to the situation, is if they do have Jimmy Garoppolo in and they truly start him all season, which they should do, by the way. I think that would be a great, great move for the 49ers and for Trey Lance. Don't make him play. Don't do it. There are so many examples in NFL history where that just does not pan out. That's not enough experience. And KP agrees with me. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. That is not a lot of college football, y'all. It's not a lot of college football. He played one full season and then one game, and then he was off to the NFL. And Grant Rude, great point, great connection. Daniel Jones, 17 starts. I believe that's the Jones you're referring to. Trey Lance, 17 starts. Maybe you're talking about Mac Jones. I'm not sure. But yeah, the 17 starts thing, it's concerning. That's not a lot of playing time. And again, the correlation between number of starts in college football, it's one of the biggest correlations to not only being successful, where we have more starts in college, but it's also a correlation to a lot of busts. Guys that get drafted early who have very few starts, it doesn't typically go well. It doesn't work out. All right. Zachary Brenner, he says, if we sign Moses, how are the odds that Fant will catch a touchdown? I don't know, man. It could happen, though. I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but if we do sign Morgan Moses and Fant is kept to be a 6 offensive lineman / eligible receiver, swing tackle, whatever you want to call him, he's caught passes before, and I don't think there's any doubt you can put him in as the 6 offensive lineman, fake a run to the left on that left side with Becton and Elijah Vera-Tucker, pull the ball, throw it to George Fant. I think that could work. And I think that could be a play that they use, no doubt. And that's the other thing. More trick plays, please. More trickeration. Enough with this, like, standard offensive BS we've been running. Let's get a little bit tricky up in here. We need more creativity on offense. Offensive genius, but he has too much power in that organization. He needs Trey Lance to hit, or even his friendship with Jed York won't save him. No, I do agree. If the pick for Lance doesn't work out, that is going to definitely put him on hot water, no doubt. I agree. 100% agree. Vern says, seems like it's taking too long to work the deal with Moses. Not a good sign. Typically, 100% agree. That's why I'm worried. And I talked about it earlier in the stream. This would be as good of a signing as the Corey Davis signing, in my opinion. It would be just as big. He's a dominant run blocker. And I want the running game to be very, very good this season. And if we sign Moses, I think we have a top 15, top 10 running game right now. The offensive line will be super good at running the ball. I believe that with my whole heart. But you're right. It's taking a long time. It doesn't mean that the deal's over. Doesn't mean it can't happen still. Technically, Robert Saleh, if we want to remember, he left the building. I believe he went to go to Philadelphia for an interview. I'm pretty sure that happened. So just because the deal hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it can't happen. I worry that maybe Moses and their agent leaked this in an effort to drive interest from other teams. So we'll see. I don't know, man. I would say if the deal is not done by the end of like this week, then I'm pretty much thinking it's over and it's not going to happen kind of deal. So, you guys are getting quick on this chat now. Let's see. Grant Rude says, Carter is capable of putting together a 1,500 all-purpose yard season. Good enough for me. Grant Rude, you are going to be fired up on Wednesday, dude. I got a voicemail from Jason Rhodes, and I don't want to spoil it, but Jason Rhodes, he's a little bit of a hater. He's a little bit of a Michael Carter hater. And we're going to have to teach that man a lesson because I think that's ridiculous. Let's see. I'm really interested to seeing who earns more all-purpose yards, Ty Johnson or Michael Carter. I think it could be very, very close. It just depends on when Michael Carter gets the job and if he gets the job. It is going to be interesting. All right. Let's see. You are awesome, but I appreciate you acknowledging that. That is, as I've said all along, very, very, very important to me. I do try to look at everybody's comments, I skip some of them, but for the most part, I'm trying to put everybody's comments up in here. So if you're new and you're watching, hope you appreciate that, that's done. There's a call-in number. Haven't had any phone calls this evening. Still not too late. I've probably got about another 20, 30 minutes in me for this stream. So if you haven't called into the show before, feel free to do so. Leave a voicemail for the podcast on Wednesday. That is also an option. So if you don't really like talking live, you can leave a voicemail and we will play the voicemail on the Wednesday podcast. Yeah. And again, if you're watching this right now and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. We are giving away the free mini helmet signed by Wayne Chrebet. Going to give that away once we hit 1,000 subscribers, which we are getting closer and closer to with every passing day. Do you think Daniel Jones is the guy in Giants land? I don't know. If you're asking me to predict, I would say no, because he keeps turning the ball over, and that's not a good sign. I don't care what's going on around you. You can't be turning the ball over loosey-goosey like that. He fumbles the ball. He throws picks. So it's not too late. He needs to have a good season this year. There's really no excuses for him this year. So we'll see. But right now I would guess no. But if he stops turning the ball over, I think that's really all that's in his way. KP. Agreed. Both Zach and Elijah will be special. They're super talented. They soak up the game like sponges and seem to have a great connection. That's what I love to hear from Zach Wilson. He said specifically, he's a kind of person I want to be around. I want to be around people like him. I want to be around Elijah Moore. And the reason why he's saying that is because I think Elijah Moore, I feel like not everybody when they come into the NFL, do they come into the NFL with the mindset, I want to be truly great. And I'm willing to do what it takes to do it. Like some players, they're just great, kind of like a Deion Sanders. Not to say that Deion Sanders didn't work his ass off, but just some people are innately great. They were born to be great, but some people have to really work for it. And I feel like Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson, they kind of both have that mindset. I don't know if they end up becoming great, but they at least have the hunger and the want to. And I think that's why Zach Wilson made that comment, because he can see in Elijah Moore's eyes and his actions and his words, the kid wants to be special. He doesn't just want to, make money. He really wants to make a name for himself in the NFL and in NFL history. So we will see. It's pretty special to be watching all of this unfold. KP, I like what you're selling me, no doubt. No doubt. And I'm glad that you're a part of the channel, dude. I hope you check out our live streams more and more. I got to get this chat is blowing up. Blowing up. Gitmo Bob. This year's draft was very strange. Players that people thought could have been in the first round went in the fourth round, vice versa. Guys who were UDFAs who should have been drafted. Wonder what was going on in the draft rooms. Yeah, the kid that we got as an undrafted free agent, the corner, apparently has been turning heads. I think he was from Oregon State, something like that. And we also have Kenny Yeboah. I don't know how well he's doing in camp, but some people thought that he should have been drafted. But there were a bunch of dudes. Even Dylan Moses didn't get drafted, who I thought absolutely could have been taken in the mid-rounds, no doubt. So definitely a lot of that in the draft. And I think a lot of this craziness was due to the pandemic and the lack of availability that these guys had to access these players and to really get to know them. I think that's definitely a thing. Jimmy G's going to get hurt. He always does. I hope not for his sake, because this is a big year for him too. It could be his last chance to be like a full-time starter. If he doesn't do a good job this year, he could become a backup in the NFL. Let's see. Imagine if the Jets made him an all-purpose, do-it-all offensive player, blocking plays, catching the ball, fullback leading the way the next. I think he's referring to Elijah Moore here as far as... Let me know who you're referring to. I actually don't know who you're referring to. Imagine if the Jets made him an all-purpose, do-it-all offensive player. Blocking... I think maybe you're referring to Michael Carter. Let me know in the chat. I want to know who you're talking about. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's some good ones. Okay. I got to go a little bit faster, guys, because you guys are way ahead of me. Gitmo Bob, that's kind of his fault, though. He famously passed on Mahomes and thinks he can turn guys like Brian Hoyer and Garoppolo into studs. He's super arrogant. That's a fair point. I won't argue there. Vern says, do you think he would fit in the zone blocking scheme? I do. I think that he is athletic enough to get out. I don't think he's like a superior athlete by any means. But again, I think he's just a tremendous upgrade. Again, when you're looking at him versus Fant. So no, I don't think he's a perfect fit. However, I do think that he can move well enough to fit in this offense. He'd be so good on the right side blocking for the run game. This dude could be seriously the last ingredient that we need on offense to be a top 10 running game. I really believe that could be. Let's see. Wasn't Rhodes in the Keep Darnold camp? What the fuck does he know? Jason Rhodes, actually, he wanted to draft another Tom Brady. He wanted to take the kid from Florida. And it's the kid that the Bucks took. Can't remember his name offhand. Florida Gator. Can't remember. But that's what he wanted to do. We'll trash him on Wednesday. Don't worry. Save it all for then. Michael Carter's quads are huge at 5'7". Yeah, he's not a very tall dude, but he makes up for it. He's got some strength to him for sure. Vern says, I saw your YouTube exchange with that Jason guy, Penny. I'm interested in why he loves P. Ryan so much. He's going to have to be ready. If he doesn't take his vitamins, if he doesn't have a good breakfast on Wednesday morning, he could be in for a tough go of it, because he made some very serious accusations about Michael Carter as basically a guy who is a boomer bust, who only makes big plays, and then the rest of the time he's kind of getting tackled for no gain, a loss. 8 yards per carry, or nearly 8 yards per carry, would tend to disagree with that. Also back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, I believe, as well as a runner. This was a guy who was not the starting running back. He split carries with Javonte Williams. I'm all about a Michael Carter. And just because I hyped up Ty Johnson does not mean I don't love Michael Carter too. I'm big on taking other people's perspective and their views. And I'm going to be respectful to Jason Rhodes, but I disagree with him vehemently. I do not agree with him at all. And you'll see that on Wednesday. We will go over it, and I will give the chat plenty of opportunity to give their voices out there, to agree or disagree with him. He is a big believer in P. Ryan, for sure. Let's see. Yeah, dude, I try. That's the thing. Like, I know that some of these other live streams that you guys watch are fantastic. Matt O'Leary, Green Bean, Ryan, the Jets Talk. It's Jets Talk stream. I can't remember what the name of it is. Talking Jets stream. They're fantastic. And I used to watch their streams all the time. But it's true, they do have a big crowd, and they don't have as much of an opportunity to interact. So it does make it's kind of nice that it is, we have this ability to interact with you guys a little bit more explicitly. And I'm hoping moving forward, if we get to the point where the chat is just too busy, that's where you guys, you'll have to leave these voicemails. And that'll be the best way to interact with you guys, is to get you guys on the show that way. Solomon Thomas was a terrible pick. Yeah, it didn't pan out for him, did it? Did not pan out. P. Ryan in this offense is not a good marriage. I agree, and we are going to talk to Jason about that. He needs to see and understand why P. Ryan, in my opinion, will not make the team. And I'll spoil it a little bit here. Michael Carter, he had actually said, might end up on the practice squad at some point this season. Let me give a little sound effect for that one. That ain't happening. There's no way. There's no way Michael Carter is on the practice squad. Not a chance. Vern says, P. Ryan can't even a shotgun a beer without puking. Shaking my head. I saw that on Twitter. How awesome was that video, by the way, of them at Borelli's? Or I can't remember if that's the name. They went to that before the Islanders game, and they were wild animals, man. They looked like they were just having such a good time hanging out with each other. Yeah, we'll see, man. But listen, that's when the voicemails, that's when they come in. I'm telling you. Because I'm not gonna stop interacting with you guys. That's gonna be a part of the channel moving forward, no matter what. Grant Root, it's all good. And that's the thing. I know you were also a Justin Fields believer. So we're just got to hope that the Jets, they got it right. We just have to hope. That's really all we have to do. Just hope they got it right. All right. Zachary threw this in earlier. He says, who's going to have the first 50-plus yard touchdown on the season? I'm going to go with, I'm going to say Elijah Moore. I feel like that's the easy choice. I think he's the most explosive. It could be a running back, though. Wouldn't shock me at all if we rip off a long run in week 1. I really do feel like that is that's the secret to winning that football game, is getting the running game going. Yes, Isaiah Dunn. Thank you for bringing his name up. He's the guy that's turning heads. He could be the cornerback that went undrafted, and that could be our best corner that we ended up getting during the NFL draft period. That's true. Players have to stay healthy. It's absolutely 100% a factor. One of your best traits is your availability. If you're not available for an NFL team, you're going to get passed by for somebody else that is healthy and playing on the team. It's just the way of the business. Let's see. Agreed. He has got a beautiful release. It's beautiful. Talking about Fant. Gotcha. The blocking. Yes. Doing a little bit of everything. For sure. Yep, Kyle Trask. Very good. Recall. Kyle Trask was the guy he was referring to. Jason Rhodes wanted them to draft him. And I think he wanted them to sign Alex Smith as well to mentor him. This was before Alex Smith retired, obviously. But that was what he initially wanted. He wanted them to build around Trask and to let him learn under a veteran like Alex Smith. So, I don't know. Kev Chatta, welcome, dude. Good to see you. I'm late. Any Moses updates or still up in the air? Way up in the air. Still up in the air. Nothing. No news. I think that if we don't have him signed by the end of this week, it could be a done deal. We might not be getting him. For sure. Let's see. Kyle Trash. What's this Rhodes drama? Never heard of it. Jason Rhodes? So tune in on Wednesday and you'll find out. He left a voicemail for the Wednesday podcast. We are going to do voicemails at the beginning of the episode like we always do. And he left me one talking about Michael Carter. And he's not a big fan, to say the least, of Michael Carter. Let's shit on Jason. That's the comment that made me laugh. Very funny. Oh, yeah, the super chat thing. Yes. That's what happens when you get to the big leagues, I guess. I don't know, man. We're not there yet, that's for sure. Vern. Practice squad, like he would ever clear waivers. Shaking my head, Jason. Yeah, that's exactly why. There's no way. 0% chance. 0 that Michael Carter goes to the practice squad. Never. Never happening. Let's see. Not fair on P. Ryan. 49ers chose Trey Sermon because they needed more than a fast running back. P. Ryan has his place. Okay, so let's talk about P. Ryan. I don't hate him as a player, but he's not a great fit for this scheme. He doesn't have the long speed, the field stretching ability. He's not going to threaten the edge, which is what this offense is all about, is threatening the edge. That's why we're going to see a lot of jet sweeps in this offense. We're going to see us using pre-snap motion to threaten the edge. And you need a running back that can also stretch it outside with these runs. And so P. Ryan is not that. P. Ryan is he's one of those players that can do a little bit of everything decently. He's not excellent at really any one thing. And you can correct me if you disagree with anything, let me know. I don't hate P. Ryan. I just think that P. Ryan's going to wind up not making the team because we have players that fit roles that we need, like Tevin Coleman, third down running back, veteran. I think he's perfect for the third down role. Receiver, blocking, you name it. We've got Michael Carter, the elusive running back we just drafted in the 4th round. There's no way he's not making this football team. Ty Johnson. Maybe P. Ryan can beat him out. I think that's a stretch because I think Ty Johnson's a better fit for the scheme. That's just my take. So no hate on P. Ryan, but he's gonna have a hard time, I think, making the team. Let's see. Okay, Keelan Cole could get a huge bomb week 1. That could be it. Yeah, I could totally see that because Keelan Cole, he's not going to draw a lot of attention versus, the opposing defense. And so he's one of those guys I think he could sneakily pop off a couple of times this season. He is a person that can make big plays happen. He had a 92-yard punt return versus the Packers last season. And he's got tremendous hands. That guy can make some circus catches. So, sure. Keelan Cole, I'll sign on that right now. That would be wonderful. Let's see. Elijah Moore, nickname for me is 8 Ball. Yep. I think that's why he picked the number 8, I think. He likes pool. He plays pool a lot, I think. And so I think that was the idea. And I think even he puts the 8 Ball in a lot of his social media posts. Elijah Moore as well, yes. Do you believe in magic? Because Zach's a magician. Did you see the Bears QB commented on Fields' throwing motion? I did not. Gitmo, tell me a little bit about that. I would like to hear more about that. By the way, guys, if you have not hit like on this stream, please go ahead and do so. This is a long stream. I'm quite happy that this worked out. Just randomly getting online was pretty cool. We are giving away the free helmet signed by Wayne Chrebet September 1st. So again, if you're watching this afterwards, do hit that subscribe button. Give yourself a shot at the prize. I am trying to get to 1,000 before the season begins so that I can do some videos with my phone. I'm not always trying to be at my computer to do video uploads. So it would be nice to be able to do that. And that's what the 1,000 subscribers will allow me to do. I can do uploads using my phone. And I can also go live at any point with my phone as well. So that's really what you guys are helping me to do. Give me more flexibility. We also will have a community post. I'll be able to post different things at you guys on YouTube. Questions, polls, updates on the channel. So that's what that 1,000 subscribers does. It makes the channel better. It's a better experience for you. It's a better experience for me. So that's what it does. Long story short. Keelan Cole, no, not a burner, but I do think he has good speed. I don't think he runs a 4.3, like a sub 4.3. Or excuse me, I shouldn't say sub 4.3. He doesn't run a low 4.3, but I do think he is definitely in that 4.4 range. Definitely good speed for his size. And he's good after the catch. So I think that's kind of his thing. Let's see. Kev says, I think we need more evaluation time on P. Ryan because everyone was wasted under black hole Gase. That's a fair point to make. Nobody performed well. And so maybe P. Ryan just needs a better opportunity, which he will have this preseason. He's gonna need to perform well. There's not going to be any excuses. He's going to just have to step up. If he wants to make the squad, he's going to have to take the job away from Tevin Coleman or Ty Johnson. That's going to be a tall task, in my opinion. That's a tall task. But we will see. That's why they play the games, as they always say. Could come down to P. Ryan or Adams unless Coleman gets hurt again. Yes, injuries always help people make rosters. So if there's an injury, absolutely, P. Ryan can make the roster, and that's why I think there's there's a chance that Berrios makes the team, because if we have an injury at wide receiver, he absolutely will make the roster, in my opinion. He is the 6th wide receiver on the team, so if one of them goes down, Berrios, I think, makes the squad as the 5th wide receiver. Let's talk about the 22 draft. Not tonight. And probably not until the season begins. I want to watch college football first. I want to watch some of these players first before I really sit down and start to talk. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about the players, but I'm going to be watching very closely this college football season. And that we will definitely have streams geared towards the college, the college level and players that we like and things like that. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Zach, prediction time. Zach will become a top 10 QB in 2023. Dude, I think he could. I think he can. And I think if it works out that way, we are in a really good spot. It's going to help tremendously if we can get ourselves a top 10 quarterback on the roster. It's going to change the whole trajectory of this team. So I'm with you 100%. He can definitely do that. I hope so. Do you think we take a tight end high in the next draft? I do, actually. We talked about that a couple of days ago. I could definitely see a second-round tight end and maybe even a first with that Seattle pick, depending on, where it falls. I would not be against taking a tight end early because right now that's probably our biggest need on offense outside of maybe another guard. So, yeah, I'm all for that. Carter and Coleman will be the 1-2 punch with Johnson filling in when needed. P. Ryan is the change-up. Adams is the odd man out. So you think we'll keep 4 running backs on the squad? I would be surprised if we kept 4 and a fullback in Wesco. That would be 5 different running backs. I would be just surprised. Not saying you're wrong, but I would be surprised. Yeah, right tackle and an edge would be awesome as well. All right, fellas, I am going to wrap this up unless somebody calls me in the next 3 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Again, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys consider subscribing if you enjoyed. Hope you consider subscribing. Hope you check out some of the videos on the channel. This was a lot of fun. I am very tired, though. And I hope you guys have a great night. Go Jets. And I will see you guys next time. Word from my daughter.